Yo, what's going on? Round 8 of the US Chess Championship. Let's try and get up to date, wrap this up. Um, in the men's department, Varushan Akobian is the leader now. After starting out solidly, he has won 3 games in a row and leading with 5 out of 7. Chased by Kamsky on 4.5, so half a point behind, and then a bunch of players on 4. The former leader Lenderman, Onischuk, Fridel and Naroditsky. In the women's department, sounds like a department store. I don't know. Anna Zatonskih, 5 out of 6, chased by Fridel Krush, 4.5. And a really dramatic last round on the women's side. But let's move on over. And as usual, I start with the men. Nothing sexist about that. Just what I did. Saving the best for last. I mean, I can talk myself out of it, right? I'm saving the best for last. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Garayev against Ramirez. Actually, these guys are not in contention, but this game was very interesting. I haven't had time to look at it, but after d4 he played b4. So this is an interesting kind of side land, trying to catch your opponent off guard. After f6, c5. No, he played e3 first and then c5, e5, c5. And this looks something straight out of Stefan Booker, some unusual openings. Yeah, a move like d3 is surely overextending here. We attack. It just feels like white should be able to undermine here with f3, knight c3. I don't know, maybe even castle queenside. It looks strange. Immediate threat might be knight e6. Okay. Just feels like this should be overextending. And a5 was played. Bishop c4. Entering this. Well, now weakened diagonal. And this is sort of a Blumenfeld with reversed colors, but the next example. Some strange mix of a Blumenfeld and Bangkok Gambit type positions. There are some lines against f3 systems in the Bangkok where I played, bishop with colors reversed. It's bishop c5, queen b6 on this diagonal, but here for white it's queen b3, bishop c4. And danger on this diagonal. Pawn takes d4 and castles, and now black can take another pawn. So white has sacrificed 2 pawns for a lead in development, open e-file, and a very dangerous diagonal here. And plus this move is always weakening if you don't have any development. Once this knight moves away here, then the queen can enter the fray maybe. So white played here knight h4. Immediate threat is queen h5 check, picking up this stray bishop here. Loose pieces drop off, so g6, d3, opening up for the bishop, bringing more pieces into play, and king f8. So black has 2 pawns off, but horrible development. Knight c6, knight e4, attacking the bishop, which retreats. And f4 enables knight g5 because black was threatening f5, winning a piece. Double attack on these guys, but now we can put a knight here on g5, block the attack on the other knight. And now he has the cue of the bishop, so here I felt like black was starting to unravel a bit, but f5, trying to both open the king set and disrupt development. Rook a6, really original play here. Kind of an irrational position, hard to figure out what's going on here. Queen e2 makes sense to line the queen up with the king, but there are no immediate threats. Maybe take on g6 and then knight takes f6 is a threat. I apologize. So g5, not allowing that. Bishop takes g5, please sacrifice. And probably forced because we can't allow the pieces to enter the game. Just looking at it, glancing at it. Okay, we might take on g5, but I guess we'll just go here. Still at 2 pawns and starting to get a bit healthier with piece coordination. But okay, sacrificing a piece is always risky. Let's see what happens. Pawn to f6. We can take another piece here, but looks dangerous. I think it took though. No, I went bishop d6. Yeah. Oh, also most left takes. Yeah, the problem is you can't take with the well, king takes is made immediately. Queen takes allows rook f7 winning the queen. So we can't do that. So bishop d6. Rook to c1, c5, knight 5. Weird position, and as you can see on the times here, it's move 22, but they don't have much time left, and that's very understandable given that this has been a highly unusual game. And maybe one that warrants a separate video just to analyze it, because it's really interesting. So finally took on d6, and now black has 2 pieces. No, yeah, once we take on d6, we had 2 pieces for the rook, but still you haven't taken on d6. Instead, he takes on d7, rook takes d8. Yeah, very complex. Let's just see what happened. He made a queen here, and now if we take, it's knight takes f8 check. And here white is up the exchange, pawns are equal, and soon they exchange queens. Let's see that. Mate was threatened here on g2, but now black initiates a queen trade. White refuses, but as I remember, they eventually exchange queens. Let's just go to that. d7, king up, king up. Yeah. No, not there. Here? Yeah, finally. This position is all live, and okay. Knight check, king d6, knight c4. Yeah. And okay, when I first saw it, I thought should be winning for white, but this pawn is really advanced, and this is vulnerable. Okay, I haven't checked, but this is a highly original position. And probably black has enough resources here. He has dangerous pawns. White had to spend the tempo here to block the king. And after 93. Yeah, the problem was knight takes was with check. So the rook moved. But now black will make a queen. And after white makes a queen, black makes another queen. So white had to take the perpetual here. So a really exciting draw. Yeah, one that I wanted to look at, even though neither of those guys was really in contention. But a highly interesting game. So let's move on to some guys that are actually in contention. Naroditsky 1 point behind the leader, Kamsky half a point behind the leader. And they played the Caro-Kann. Knight takes e4 and knight e7. Avoiding bishop f5 theory. And Kamsky tends to go his own ways in the opening. Bishop g4. And already, yeah, very committal here by white, and we had a somewhat original position here, bishop to d5. And let's just see what happened. Bishop to g7. He really likes to. Okay, he plays a Slav, and then often he has the pawns like this: a6, h6, and c6, and then he likes to fianchetto his bishop. Sort of similar. Okay, not the same, but looks like a tendency of Kamsky. Queen takes d7. So white has more space, but black is still very solid. Castle's queenside, so black doesn't really have any weaknesses. And here he decides to open up the center. He has better development. The king is stuck here, so makes sense. But white catches up, catches queenside.
What did he catch queenside, man? Yeah, he got the flu. Yeah.
Pawn takes d4, bishop takes and queen f4 check. Soon we had some exchanges, but that's not unusual in Kamsky's games. He likes to take the battle into the endgame, and he's an excellent endgame player. This regains the pawn immediately, but here, yeah, we could say that black gets a slightly better pawn structure with an isolated pawn here, but it's not much. But Kamsky can at times outplay people from nothing like this. King c7. Well, yeah, repeating move, so he decided to do something else. Took on h5, takes back, and now king back. But here the pawns are getting drastically reduced. Yeah, he's trying to play b5, which will further reduce the pawns. Bishop e2 first, staying solid, not allowing any attacks on f3, but no b5? Yeah? You're gonna play b5? Okay. Finally b5, okay. And okay, 2 pawns against 2. Even if you lose a pawn here, it's easy to, it's difficult to lose. So finally we get the rook ending, and now black can force a perpetual, white can force a perpetual here, taking the pawn, and we have to defend it. But now we kill check. We have to keep an eye on this one. Back and forth. So a draw is agreed. So a nice result for Naroditsky, who has been having a solid tournament. I think, yeah, the youngest player in the field, definitely. Muller against Shankland, we will skip. Okay, really quickly, we'll just look at it real quick. Yeah, exchange Slav. Boring! See if anything happened. They exchange, okay, each got an exchange here. And then they exchange a lot of pieces. Okay, finally we take on p3 because now the queen got pinned. But looks like not much happened, and okay, understandably, Molnar wants to be solid. I mean, he's close to being the bottom seat. And okay, at that draw, white will take on b6 and symmetrical pawn structure. So I mean, he does, first and foremost, he wants to avoid losing. So Josh Fridel against Ray Robson. A French defense, we had a bunch of those in this tournament. And it's the Tarrasch defense, the Tarrasch variation with 92. And this tends to be quite solid for black, and quickly we get an endgame here. I have a feeling not much happened in this game. Everything's equal. White has queenside majority here, but okay, he gave up this pawn, but are we winning c3 immediately? Attack on this one. Most likely we are. Doesn't take it immediately, or does it take it at all? Back to the attack on c3. Yeah, black seems to have a fine blockade, but he might make progress here. Probably not. I mean, this bishop is really restricted, and now all the black pieces are attacking this, so white is kind of tied up to the pawn. So here it's really hard to see how white can make any progress, and after king d6, black off the draw, pawn down, and yeah, white is just tied down to this. He can't really do anything, so the draw was agreed. And are there any decisive games in this round? Yes, there are. Let's see, Onischuk and Lenderman, both on 4 out of 7, so an outside chance to catch the leader. Lenderman with black, we have Queen's Gambit declined. I think this is called the Ragozin with bishop e4, not always confused in these lines actually. So pawn to c4. So releasing the tension, but this is land that has been seen before plenty of times. So back to e7. White undermines for c4. Takes and takes back. And yeah, somewhat starting to resemble some lines in the Taras where I cast this pawn. Okay. White took on c4. Knight to b4. Knight takes d5. Yeah, the question is what happens if queen b3. This feels like there could be some tactics here, but I think around here bishop takes d5. Okay, now we have a pin here with a rook, so he unpinned, but rook takes c4. And if this works, this might be something that white overlooked. b5. And now black would simply have thought we would have two pieces for the rook, but we take on b4 now. What's going on? I don't understand. You can take here and have this pawn. Yeah, of course. So let's say queen somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe this is bad squaring. So yeah, that's really dangerous because we got strong bishops, strong pawns, and there's no e4 coming. If you play f3, you have to defend this first. But then we can play f5. Even though that's pointing to f4, you can play f5 and stop this. And these pawns are really dangerous. So yeah, I understand. He played e4. Pawn takes e4. Queen over to h3. But now black has a small material edge. I mean, okay, rook and pawn are equal to this, but with the activity, I think everyone would prefer black here. Rook takes d3. Yeah, he decides to sacrifice. And now white has 2 pawns for the piece, and that's just doesn't look like enough. So yeah, rather quickly here, Lenderman wrapped up, and a nice win for Lenderman. And I was just reading that he had played before this tournament 19 games in a row against grandmasters without a win, but here he wins against Onischuk, and this is his 4th win in the tournament. And of course, everybody is a grandmaster, so now 4 wins against grandmasters in this tournament. And okay, he was behind Akobian by a point before this round, so let's see what Akobian did. The leader before this round. And okay, now technically because we looked at Lenderman, we looked at Kamsky, they have caught up to him with 5 out of 8, but Akobian has 5 out of 7 before we look at this game. So what happens? Robson with white, Akobian with black. We have a Catalan. We've seen this also before in the tournament. Then we talked about why black is wasting a move here. Bishop has to move again usually, both to get in a better square and to cover d4 at times, and also because the bishop belongs on b2 in some lines. So now he moves it again. And here we have this dance we had before. I'm looking at the right game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at an old game. That's why I've seen this before. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's actually Akobian Ehrenburg. It's Akobian Ehrenburg. What's wrong with me? So okay, same situation applies. Before this, Akobian 5 out of 7, but Lenderman and Kamsky have caught up. So Akobian with white, that makes kind of a big difference, doesn't it? Bishop d3, and here one cheeky line. Okay, he played a4, but here one trick for you is queen e2. When after c5, which is the standard break to free black's position, we have this trick here, and we can't take back. Double attack, you can't defend both bishops. White wins 2 pawns if black recaptures on b5. But he played a4, and this aims to weaken, for instance, this square. You can put a knight on, well, most likely d2 and then b3 or c4, depending on how black is setting up. Here he puts it on b3, takes on c5, and e4. Playing against this bishop, trying to gain space. Gives this bishop more scope. And after a5, e5. Okay, white has slightly more space because of this pawn. But black is also quite solid. Rook c6, we're attacking this guy. Yeah, note that of course we can't take immediately because we lose the queen. But now we're trying to take knight c5, knight c4. So white is slightly more comfortable because of his space advantage. But nothing decisive yet. Here makes Luft, gives up this pawn, but he can regain a6, which he does, and now we have a passed pawn, which could become dangerous, and I believe it does. Queen c3, queen check, and yeah, nice maneuver here, protecting the rook, protecting the pawn, and now we're ready to push. Here black has to, yeah, watch out how to defend against this pawn. a6, rook f5, threatening on f2, but it turns out that white just pushed the pawn, and black resigned. This is not dangerous. Queen takes, nothing further, your honor. Rook takes f2, queen, protecting this square, nothing further, your honor. The defense rests. So Akobian wins, and now he is leading with a full point. And we're gonna have a look at the women also. And after a dramatic, well, it's 6th round, dramatic 6th round. It's time to see what happened. Fridel and Krush, already half a point behind Zatonskih. Here with the black pieces, and just employs a solid Nimzo setup. Classical Nimzo Indian development. Bishop on b7, controlling e4. And we take c3, g5, unpinning the knight on e4, or on f6 I mean, which now goes to e4. So controlling the e4 square, f5, d5, trying to undermine here. I think the idea is usually, if takes, it's even take back. It's either knight d4 immediately or take first on d5 and then knight d4. And yeah, black is weakening his position a bit, so knight c5. Knight to d4 anyway, pawn takes d5, bishop takes d5, f3. Knight back, and now we take on f5. So a wide open position, opposite colored bishops, hard to assess, hard to play. And this was a struggle. Yeah, note that of course takes. We have some kind of discovery with the bishop, winning the queen. So queen g6 check, king h8, and castles. Interesting. Queen takes h6 does not look like an option. Let's see, something like this. Confused. She didn't take. Yeah, maybe once once white castles, let's say something like this. We just play bishop c4. And then we can take here. Yeah, one idea is bishop takes e5, rook takes e5. I mean something like this. It's just an idea. I'm not sure what's going on here. So she castles immediately, but now the knight is attacked. It moves and protects h6. Takes on d6. So a complicated game, and by no means clear what's going on here. And I mean, white has the better pawn structure. Black has 3 pawn islands, some weak pawns, but black does seem to have some active play and dynamic possibilities. But as it turned out, Irina Krush couldn't make any progress in this game. g4 was played, attacking the rook, back, and yeah, note that probably this is working for white, so the rook moved, bishop here, f4. So pawns are equal. At this point I think black is for choice because now we have some pressure on the diagonal, but seems like white managed to neutralize it. Black for choice still. But she didn't make any progress. Yeah, she was pressing and now white got the opposite colored bishop ending. So yeah, this game was longer than I remembered, but now she managed to exchange the rooks. Does black not have a choice here? Maybe not. If we go rook f1, maybe we start pen and pitting. So exchanging the rooks, but now it's as most people know, opposite colored bishop endings are notorious for their drawing tendencies, and how can black make progress here? I don't see it, and they agree to a draw. So this is great news for Anna Zatonskih if she can win against Elisa Melikina. And here they had the French defense, the advanced variation. This variation, pawn sacrifice for white, which Melikina had. She had made a video on this for chess, onlinechesslessons.net. So, and it's an interesting line. A line that I lost one tournament game in the Oslo League Championship. So I know it's a tricky line, and I have also employed it with white occasionally. I think this bishop c5 is probably the best line. I think it was the one recommended in one French repertoire book that I have. And b6. So white has some compensation, but I mean, white has some compensation, but she is down a pawn, and here she elects to capture this knight, but this means that black doesn't really have any problems. Bishop e6. Okay, this bishop is okay. She gives up the pawn. Interesting. Yeah. Now the pawns are equal, but most importantly, black has this diagonal, and white really doesn't have this one quite yet because of this pawn. So that's a plus for black. So now she just tucks the bishop here, ready to swing the queen over when she wants to attack here. So rook to f4, rook to c2, throwing some pins here so the queen moves. And at around this point, white started to drop off a lot of pawns. This was attacked, but no, I think she took an a2, rook d6, and looked like make Luft. all levels of chess, you make Luft. Look like she went a little crazy. Another pawn here. And she somehow didn't get any good play. Here's the third pawn, but where's the play? It's just 3 pawns. Okay, you open this diagonal, but black can close it when she wants. And yeah, exchanging the queens. Now it's just 3 pawns off for black. And even though we have opposite colored bishops, 3 pawns or 3 pawns. And here, outside pass pawn, and plus we can make a pass pawn here. It's gonna be too much. Let's quickly see what happened. Czechoslovakia. And where's the pass pawn? Here's the pass pawn. Coming. Pawn to f4. It's coming. Yeah. White had to move something. You can't keep the bishop on this square. Attacking both this and this. And the king here. So just move the bishop. Zugzwang. The king has to move. And now f4. And I don't think she fought for much longer here. f3 check. And we just swing the king over to the queen side. We're gonna win this bishop. This guy. King c1. Oh, I thought you would go king c1, but now we can just go f2. Bishop there. Now we can go f2. She doesn't. Okay, but now the king moves. The same idea with f2. Then we just go here, here. Queen the pawn with the bishop, and we have a pawn remaining with the bishop. So black resigned, and this means that Anna Zatonskih is leading with a whole point now, and everything, yeah, leading up to the 8th round where Krush and Zatonskih will actually play. Yeah. Maybe a real quick look at Aswaran, the 13-year-old prodigy. She managed to win against Irina Seniuk. Just browse through it real quickly. You know the video is long enough already. So King's Indian Fian Chatterline. Oh, okay, yeah. Now I remember this game. So the critical part is a bit later. Some maneuvering here, white breaks in the center. And is probably doing quite well here. King gets one. Yeah, this king is surprisingly safe. And here, black tried too hard, and white was up for the challenge here. Black elected to sacrifice a piece here, but it's not enough. d6 check, queen e1, knight f1, blocking everything. Black wants to play f3 here, but nice move, queen d5 check, exchanging the queens, and now white is up a piece. No problems, and she didn't have any particular problems in converting here. Picking up another pawn, and yeah, just completely winning for white. And finally resignable, this knight is going to check on c6 or f7, and then we queen and pawn. So, well done by Aswaran. Yeah, it was round 8 for the men, 7 for the women. And yeah, if you're still around, thanks for watching. I will see you later. Bye bye.